Alrighty. So So I'm hearing quite a number of people saying there's no sound. Let me be sure that it said that you didn't hear the profile that just got read, or is it that um, you didn't hear my voice at all? Please confirm to me. If you didn't hear that profile, let me see that in the comment section, right? Somebody said the data is running and you're not saying anything. Do you need technical help? Oh, I can hear you speak now, but is it that you didn't hear the profile? Please confirm. No audio earlier. Oh, it had an audio. It was, all blasting up. I wonder what it is that happened. I'm going to try to play it again to be sure that we are good. All right. You didn't hear anything. The first sound, this is the first sound I'm hearing. Thank you for confirming that. Let's see what it is that happened. Please confirm in the comment section if you can hear this profile as it plays again. Thank you. Okay, I can see that we're having a tech issue. Being able to hear the profile, it's not audible, but I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened because it's playing over here. Scoopy, your beautiful face. Thank you. It's playing over here, but I do not know why it's not playing at your end. But we're going to leave that profile. I'm going to share briefly what it is, that profile talked about, so that at least you will be able to know who is speaking to you this morning. I do not want to assume that everybody knows me. You know how you just come out, and then of course I know that there are a lot of parents who are in this academy and who are also joining us for the very first time. If this is your first time, by the way, and you are joining us for the first time at the academy, right? Please let me see your comment in the comment section, right? And what we're going to do is at the end of this session, if it pleases you, I will share that profile right in the community so that whoever it is that wants to take a look would actually take a look at what it is or who it is that is bringing you this good news today, so that, like I said, we're not assuming that everybody just knows you and then you're just going on and on. Basically, the Intentional Parent Academy is an academy for parents. It's a coaching outfit that is dedicated to equipping parents and intending parents to intentionally raise their children positively, especially in the face of our decaying societal value. We organize seminars for parents in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria. We do both physical and online conferences. We are known for the TIP annual conference we run every year, and this year will be the 7th year on it. We are going to have 35 global speakers run at the TIP annual conference this year. So the TIP annual conference is a free online conference that we run. We are known for it. It's globally acclaimed to be the biggest online parenting conference ever, right? We also run the TIP summit, the physical summits that we run in different parts of the world. This year, we're privileged to be going to London and also some other places in the world. And we work with schools. We've been privileged to work with Barrington. We've been privileged to work with Charles Day. We've worked with several schools over the years. And we also work with organizations. We've been privileged to work with LNNG, General Electric, GT Insurance, and all the rest. We also work with the government of the day to create parenting strategies. We've been privileged to work with the state government, the Lagos state government specifically. We teach in religious settings. We've taught in Mountain of Fire, Living Faith Church, um, House on the Rock, name it, whatever it is, whatever church, we're there. We also offer parenting education. We offer parenting education via our online free channels. And most importantly, we do a year-round course and challenges that impact parenting. Parenting doesn't require perfection, it requires training. This is one of the things that we say all the time. This will be this will be our number 7 course this year already. We've been running courses since the beginning of so sorry about that. I don't know what and why that happened, and I don't even know where it is that we stopped. Okay, we're going to just go straight to the conversation of the day because we've we've actually done a lot of back and forth. So we'll just go to the conversation of the day. If you want to read more about our profile, I'm going to send that maybe probably tomorrow, or maybe send it to you right send it to you right in the community. What a way to be back here. All right. All right. Yes. So let's go on. I'm going to call up my slides, and please be sure to let me know that your slide, you actually can see my slide. Please confirm that you can see my slide. I was, formally trying to talk about the academy and introduce myself. First of all, the profile wasn't heard. Second of all, we started to talk about the academy and it was off, but it's okay. So we're going to just send you the details. All right, team, please just send the profile in the group so that everybody will be able to read through and we don't just waste time. Thank you so much, everybody. Can you see? You can see the slides. All righty, all righty. Let's move. Let's move. It's okay. Now, food for thought. I want you to assimilate these, right? Assimilate these really, really strongly. Once you have sent your children the message that you're uncomfortable about the subject of sex, they are less likely to choose you as their primary source of information in the future. One of the things that you must do is that you need to get comfortable talking about this conversation. Whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you just, look at it, you just wake up and you just decide, no, 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 this is not the way I want to do it. No, it's not according to my faith. Oh, no, it's not. Just know that if you get uncomfortable with the message, your children will not choose you as their primary source of information. So you must get comfortable talking about this. Let's take a look at this module. This module is talking about understanding body safety. Let's take a statistics. Now, global statistics according to the World Health Organization. Now, this is global statistics. I couldn't find anything on the statistics that we have in Nigeria, or I saw in other countries, but of course, I decided to just use a global statistics that helps us since we're all coming from different parts of the world. All right. Now, approximately 1 in 4 adults report having been physically abused as children. And then 1 in 5 women have been reported being sexually abused. And 1 in 13 men reported being sexually abused. Of course, that shows you that the reporting is very slim, right? That shows you that the reporting is very slim at your end, right? So a lot of us don't report when it's male. A lot of the male who were abused never reported because we've not really gotten to the point where we actually think or know that reporting is key for the male, figure. So one of the things that we do is, we minimize what it is that boys actually go through. We minimize it. We just say it's nothing, and so we focus on the female all the time. Now, this is a global statistic, but that is even not our focus today. Here is our focus. The internet acts on statistics. Parents act on hope. Unfortunately, hope is not a strategy in this conversation. So as you go through this class, one of the things that I would like you to do is when you hear that very thing that hits you, put the fire emojis right in the comment section. Put the fire emojis right in the comment section, and then we go. All right. So let's create all of the ginger and all of the things that we should have. All right. Oh, the banner. All right. I'm sure they would do that. Okay. Now, but just listening, and then your worksheet. Also remember that your worksheet contains almost all the things I'm going to be talking about in worksheet format. In worksheet format. So I need you to relax, take down notes, right? So that you will be able to actually follow through when you're using the worksheet. Every day of the conversation we're going to have at Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, there will be a worksheet for you to walk through. All right. So that worksheet gives you a better system that you have. The worksheet isn't in your email yet. It's going to be in your email. And please note, if you haven't subscribed to the specific email for this class, better go and look for that link and subscribe to it so that you're not, constantly just, complaining, oh, I can't see mail, I see mail and all of that. If the mail you're using isn't working, use the mail another mail and try it. Check your spam, check your promotion and all of that. Somebody saying we pray, we get the recording. You don't need to pray to get recording. Recording is here. Which is one of the things that we do, just the way we pray that our children don't get molested. I hope that's not part of the prayer that you're praying. There is no need to pray. We're here for you, and you have paid to have access to this class. That's what you have. Access we have. So please kindly pay attention and relax. Thank you very much. Now, what is sexual abuse? Sexual abuse involves engaging a child in sexual acts, fondling, rape, exposing a child to any form of sexual activity. One of the things that we do not know is that when someone tries to fondle you, touch you, it's actually a form of sexual abuse. When someone shows you an explicit video or a child, it's actually a form of sexual abuse. And you find out that when it's it's time, right? When it's time, you will begin to see, that most of us were sexually abused. But it's just that we're not paying attention. We didn't pay attention. We didn't even know what it meant. And today, almost every child is being sexually abused, either by touching, or non-touching forms of sexual abuse. And it's happening every day in our homes. And then, everybody just goes their way. If I do a sample now in this particular, place, and I say to you, oh, what is it about sex conversation, that are your children exposed to, explicit sex, stuff and all of that? Everybody's going to say, no, it's not me. It's not my child. And it's shocking. I remember that last month, our theme of the month in the inner circle was sex educate your child like a pro. And I found out even 4-year-olds knew the things that shocked their parents to their bone marrows. So many times we just sit and we actually assume. And the reason you're here is that you haven't assumed that you know what it is you need to teach your child. And congratulations to all of you. Now, what is body safety education? What is body safety education? Body safety is an aspect of sex conversation. So even if you've been in sex educate your child like a pro 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, this is taking a whole new turn. We're starting this conversation with body safety because it is one aspect, right? It is one aspect that we don't talk about enough, or sometimes we don't even discuss it. And then when our children get to the point where they are now struggling, like a child comes up and tells you, oh, I want to actually, do something on my body. And then you start screaming, you start getting agitated. But you do not understand that part of body safety is actually talking about the safety of your body. Talking about the hygiene, talking about the safety and all of that. Now, the body safety education is just an aspect of this conversation. Is an aspect, the practices, the knowledge, the attitude that empower children and parents to protect themselves from abuse and inappropriate behavior. And I say, is an essential part of this conversation that helps your child understand and protect their bodies from various forms of harm, including those they might inflict on themselves. So a few days ago, I shared about the egg harvesting industry. Now, that's part of body safety conversation. Many of us are not having those conversations with our girls. And most of the times it's because we do not have the knowledge of what it is and why it is. Being able to actually sit down, look at the things that the piercings, the tattoos. So let me say this. Most of the conversation we're going to have today on body safety, it's actually not about right and wrong. It's actually not about righteousness and sin. It's about wisdom and foolishness. And if I'm sure that the inner circle parent, would understand when I say that the conversation in parenting is about wisdom and foolishness. It's not really just about righteousness and sin. So I don't want us to actually, come to this conversation with the attitude of, no, is it a sin? Is it not a sin? No, that's not what we're here for. We're here to actually look at, wisdom and foolishness. That's what we're here, for. So when we talk about body safety, we're talking about protecting your own body. Now, I had a conversation with a young girl, and I was, trying to mediate in a family fund. And what was the problem? The girl was selling her eggs, in a clinic. And the girl was doing it almost on it every 6 months, yearly, and she was making money from it. How much did they pay these girls? 150K, 100K, and they were giving them this money. And then when we were having the conversation, and she asked me a question: is it a sin to sell your eggs? It's not written anywhere. Paul the apostle said all things are lawful, not all things are expedient. It's not written anywhere, but it is about protecting your body. If you do not come from that conversation, and of course, for those of us who already have teenagers, you're going to lose the conversation. And by the time I broke it down for her, and I was able to actually show her in black and white, the children of these days actually deals with facts. Your generation dealt with stories. So if you're still telling stories and you do not have facts, you cannot share wisdom with your children. You can't have this conversation with them. So if you're still, talking about, if you don't do it, people who put tattoo will go to hell. People who do this will go to hell. That's not true. That's not a fact. People who put on, piercings will go. That's not true. That is not a fact. That's not a fact. So you must be able to actually get the wisdom required to be able to work with your children, because the truth is we are in the days of information, not in the days of stories. You couldn't confirm a lot of the stories that you heard, but your children can confirm them. The more factual you are, the more you are able to prove to them that this can actually be harmful, the more they will be able to listen to you. So squash your stories. Take your stories to the back. So if you lived in my generation in the 80s, we were raised with a lot of stories we couldn't confirm. Today, your children will confirm them. And if they are not true, then you lose that privilege to actually be the trusted person to have this conversation. So body safety conversation starts at the beginning, the day you have your child. Because it is for you. It is for your child. We're not talking about whether body safety. No, it is about protecting your body by yourself for yourself. That's it. Protecting your body by yourself for yourself. So that's where your conversation is going to come from. So recently, last month, there was a body safety plan that we used in the inner circle, right? And where we were actually trying to get parents to start off this conversation. And it is important that you understand that this conversation, you're not going to win this war without learning. You are never going to win it without learning, because you're going to lose your children. They have a lot of facts. They have a lot of information. So your children are not looking for the bearer of information, because the internet bears information. Your children are looking for bearers of wisdom, because the internet does not bear wisdom. Did somebody hear me? Your children are not looking for bearers of information, because the internet has information. Your children are looking for bearers of wisdom, because the internet does not have wisdom. The internet does not have wisdom. Share wisdom. Don't share stories. That's what you're here for. Now, what is the impact of body safety education? What is the impact of body safety education? Empowerment and awareness. The more your children understand why they need body safety education, the more that they actually get empowered and they are more aware. They are more aware of what it is their body is for. They are more aware of what it is that, in the academy we say aware. They are more aware. See, don't be that parent who is on the corner. Your children are throttling. They are asking questions. You are saying, I don't even know what it is. I heard Auntie Etima, who is going to be teaching I think next tomorrow. And she was talking about children self-harming, cutting themselves. Children self-harm because body safety conversation was never there. That's why self-harm actually come into place. So your children actually need you to share. So and some parents will say, "What's still fun? Oh, really?" Children got themselves. Some people are so ignorant. You are not aware. You are not aware of anything that is happening. You can't win this war without the kind of knowledge that will require you to ascend to wisdom. So there's an ascension of wisdom you need. It is when you ruminate knowledge, then you can ascend it to wisdom to be able to share. Because the kind of information your children have, it will shock you. The kind of things they know, it will shock you. It's very interesting. I had a conversation with someone, on my way coming from the US recently. And I was sitting with this woman, the young daughter was trying to talk about the things that they do in school and, some of the words and all of that. We were at Heathrow. And then, this girl, a black girl, this girl just went on and on. They live in Nigeria. On and on and on. And the mom was like, hey, all these things that young children do, I don't even know anything about it. I was livid in my spirit. I just saw a lost parent in 2024, and your child is there struggling. Just like, madam, you know everything your child is saying. Come on. And I was like, you learn about it, ma. You learn about it. So your children get empowered. And of course, they become more aware. Unfortunately, the awareness is that the empowerment we're talking about is the wisdom. That's what we're talking about. So the more you share the truth, the more empowered your child becomes. Let's move. Number 2 is prevention of abuse. The more your child understands what their body is for, why their body is there, what it is that they can do to protect their body, prevention of abuse becomes so easy. So easy. I remember going to school, right? University. I was 16 to thereabout, yes. And we were going to do medicals. While we were standing, in the front to actually have the children do medicals, everybody going in, the girls, so the particular doctor, and everybody kept coming out saying that the doctor needed to suck your breast before he checks your heartbeat. I knew that was wrong. I knew something was wrong. Now, do you know what? Because these children were unaware, abuse happened. Do you know that is abuse? So everybody who entered, this particular doctor had to bring down their breast, touch it, fumble the breast, and all of that. And I was like, what's happening here? Hey, what's happening here? They were not aware. And there is also early intervention and support. Early intervention and support. At least your child will know that, oh, okay, no, this is it. And there's also improved mental health. Improve mental health, because the reason a lot of children are mutilating their body and they're getting depressed and I was looking at the statistics at the young children who are getting piercings. Now, it is said that these piercings, right, they were getting, that it was linked to depression. And then, it was said that once you get the one, you keep getting piercing. Now, is piercing a sin? I want to repeat, no. In fact, there's actually a scripture where he actually says, oh, people who have nose rings, it was actually said in the positive. No, it's not. Right? So it is about, when you actually do this, now you begin to help your child. That's the idea. So your child will not go through all of these, depression, mental health issues, just because they needed to actually just do stuff. The moment I've just realized that the moment you begin, to look at your body, tamper with it, do stuff with it, there's something that follows it. So there has to be, right? There has to be some kind of system that helps your children from the beginning to understand why they must protect their body from themselves. Children who are educated about body safety have supportive environment, right? And are less likely to suffer long-term and health care issues associated with abuse, with depression, with anxiety, and all of that. Now, let's keep going. Here are the 5E elements of body safety education. That's what I love to call it. I love to use letters so that when you leave my class, you will remember whatever it is that I shared with you. And even if you don't remember anything, you will remember the letters. And of course, that makes it easy. Okay? That makes it easy to actually be able to do stuff. So the elements of effective body safety education: empowerment of bodily autonomy. You need to teach your children that their body belongs to them. That's one. Two, that their body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. It means that there's something bigger than you that should live in your body. Hey, there is something that is not. So that means your body should be worthy of housing God. Very important. You know, sex conversation must be done from the value point. Sex conversation must be done from the point of value. And if you're listening to me, you do not have your family value guide, please, I beg you. That's where to start. Get into the seller link. There's a guide that we have called the Family Value Guide. I'm sure that inner circle parents would understand what I'm saying. You will be able to, first of all, list what your values are. See, you see the conversation we have from the middle, where we tell our children, don't you know the family of who you are? They don't know. You are confusing them. They don't know. They don't understand. They don't understand. Right? This is so, so, so important. Somebody is saying 2-ear is not wrong. 2-ear piercing is not wrong. No. I'm even saying that piercing of any kind is not a sin. Let's not. I hope we're getting on this conversation. Piercing of any kind isn't a sin. Let's not get it twisted. That's not what this conversation is about. So please let us pay attention, right, to this conversation. Okay. Now, let your family value be at the foremost of what the conversation will take off from. That's why I say that sex conversation is not to be done by any other person that is not you. Because it must be done from the point of value. It must be done from the point of value. This is so important. So what is your value? So what I'm teaching you today is to do this from the point of value, wisdom. If your value is that, oh, it's okay that my child is going to do this, do that, please make sure that that value is right in front of your children. That is, let it be in front of your children. Don't come tomorrow and confuse them. Right? Don't come tomorrow and confuse them. So get your family values in place. Put it in front of them. Let them, let them internalize it. There's some things that people, they say, I have teenagers myself. There are some things that, my children come and they say, oh, this conversation about so and so, people, I'm like, but you're not people. You're not people. Some things we don't do. It's not because it's a thing or it is not a thing. It's just because we are who we are. That's it. So when I say, oh, we don't do this, sometimes it's not even about sin, righteousness. Okay? So let's get it from there. And that's why it's very wrong, right, to get your sex conversation. It's very wrong to get your sex conversation, allow your children to get it from anywhere else that is not your family. So you are the first bearer. Now, number 2, education on safe and unsafe touch. You need to explain the difference. Hugs, unsafe touch. Why is this unsafe? Now, unsafe touch is what a child defines it as. Let me say that again. Unsafe touch is what a child defines it as. You have no right to define what an unsafe touch for a child. The moment you tell us, no, you just touched you, it's nothing. Well, how do you know what makes me feel uncomfortable? So if you're going to educate on safe and unsafe touch, be sure to let your child know that anything that makes you uncomfortable is unsafe. It doesn't matter. Somebody hugs you and you feel unsafe, it is unsafe. It's not you. So stop minimizing what it is that the child feels. So you educate the child on safe and unsafe touch and tell the child what you define as unsafe is unsafe. Number 3, encouragement of healthy self-image. Encouragement of healthy self-image. You need to promote a positive body image and self-esteem. Right? Positive image. Natural development of body, discuss it. Reassure them that everyone develops at their pace. Reassure them that what they have, the way they are created, is how it is that God wants them to be. See, for you to actually talk about body safety, you must talk about body acceptance. There is an body image acceptance. Body image. So let the child be able to understand that this is my body, the way I am. It's the way I'm created for a reason. Do you know that if you're tall, there's a reason why you were made tall? If you're short, there's a reason why you were made short. If you're fat, there's a reason why you were made. Why you are thin. There's a reason. So you need to actually, first of all, accept it, body acceptance. Now, if you need to now say, oh, okay, oh, this is your body, you need to ensure that you make it fit for being human, fit for, it comes from acceptance first. Because it's important that your children accept who they are. One of the reasons there's a lot of surgery, there's a lot of, stuff, changing of body, system. Now, again, it is not a sin. It's not about sin. It's not about death. It's not about going to hell. You see all those things, right? You see all those things that, our parents used to say, if you do it, you go to hell. It's not true now. Somebody reached out to me and said, oh, my child said he wants to get a tattoo. And I told him he will go to hell. How? Is that a joke? He won't go to hell. It's not about going to hell, really. It's about, what it is, the consequences of whatever it is that you want to do on your body. The next thing is evaluation of media and peer pressure. If you are not evaluating media and peer pressure on your parenting, you're wrong. There is no sex conversation without tech conversation. Somebody help me write that in the comment section. There is no sex conversation, right, without tech conversation. You must evaluate what your children are watching, because body safety education, media, is one of the foremost game changer. Game changer. It's important that you actually begin to look at, right? You actually begin to look at what it is that your children are consuming. Because it is in what they consume. It is in what they consume that is what they believe. Anything that is informing you will form you or disinform you. So anything that is informing you, remember, is forming you, whether positively or negatively. So you need a media plan. What must go down? Must be watched. Some things we think are harmless, our children are watching. We think they are harmless. We think there are things that, oh, you just want to just, do. Now, on media, you see a projection of not accepting who you are. It's very loud, especially for teen girls. It's very loud, very subtle, very loud, and yet, parents are just watching. When is the right time to start evaluation of media and peer pressure? From the day you have your child. I'm sure the parents in the academy know this already. If you've decided you have your child, the first thing you want to do is create a family value, create your family media plan. What is the plan of media in our home? Most of our children are being abused. On the last day, on Friday, we're going to be talking about non-touching forms of sexual abuse. Non-touching forms of sexual abuse. It means that there is sexual abuse that can happen without being touched. And that happens through the media. So from the day you have your child, what is forming them is supposed to be watched. Because that's what is going to get them to understand what their body and how it is that their body is. What do you think is happening with the LGBTQ system? They are using the mere experience. They are using media. So they are already telling your children that, see, you can be what it is that you want to be. You can be what it is that you want to be. It doesn't matter. Just determine to be it. Just determine to be it. And they're using tech to do that. The question will be, what are you doing with media? What are you doing with peer pressure? Now, peer pressure is compulsory on your journey as a parent. Yeah. Peer pressure is compulsory on your journey as a parent. What you should be looking at is, how do I create the environment for my child where the kind of peer pressure will happen and it will be the kind of positive kind of peer pressure? We're going to get there because environment can be bigger than your family value system. So if you create your value system without creating the environment, that your children will need, this environment includes you as a person. You are part of the environment. All right? You need to get sex educate your child like a Pro Volume 3. You're part of the environment. The media, part of the environment. The people around them is part of the environment. You want to ask yourself, what is my child really saying? I usually say that no matter how hot anything is, put it in the freezer, it will freeze. So environment is a big deal. Peer pressure is a must. The question is, what kind of peer pressure? Are you creating the kind of environment, right? Are you creating the kind of environment for your child that will actually help your child? To learn better. So now you see why tech conversation is a big deal. Media, you go to some houses, you open everywhere. The children are watching BB Niger. They're watching. You say, it's not anything. We're learning the games. You don't know that it can affect your body safety conversations. And then they see somebody inside that same program who says, no, I had to do surgery to actually get my shape, to actually, get really, good. Is it a sin? No. Hey. But your child is actually being formed with those information. There's some Nigerian movies. I watch parents, sit down with your teenagers, you watch all kinds of Nigerian movies. That's an environment you're creating for your child. That's what you're doing. You're actually forming everything with your child. So when it comes to this conversation, the media in your home is preaching something else. You are preaching something else. Yeah. So when you come and say they're looking at you, what are you talking about? We watch these things. It's not really a problem. I usually say that you cannot choose friends for your children, but you can choose the environment where those choices are made. You cannot choose friends for your children, but you can choose the environment where those choices will be made. The environment you're choosing for your children will determine the kind of thing that it is that is happening in that environment. When parents come to me, right? When parents come to me and tell me that, I don't even know the kind of friends my children are making. The kind of friends your children make is as a result, is the product, is your result sheet of the kind of things that is happening in your home. Quote me anywhere, anytime, anyone, I will defend it. Because everybody makes associates from the kind of value that they build. And then not the kind of value that one thing says another thing says another thing. You have the media showing all kinds of things. Or is it dance movies, dance videos that we all watch in the home? All of these things are creating the environment. They are creating the place where your children will draw value from. So your children are not only drawing value from the things you say, your children are drawing value from the things that is in your environment. Your children are drawing values by the things that you allow in your environment. Your children will draw value from your dressing. Your children will draw value from the things you say it's okay. Your children will draw value from the things you say that it doesn't matter. Recently, someone I know came to my house, not wearing clothes properly. It's a no-no in my home. Like I said, it is my family value. I have to tell her, no, go and change, because I am creating an environment for my children in my home. So it's not just about what I'm saying. It is also about the environment that you can see. What environment are you creating for your children? Again, your children, the choice of friends your children will make will be a reflection of their home, the value system, the knowledge bank they have, and your parenting, sir. That's how your children are going to make their choices. So you need to ask yourself, how is my home being created for these choices? It is very easy for us to actually just wake up and say that, these things, they don't really matter. They're not here. They're not, and blame the children for the things that they do. But think about it really. Every single one of us will have a decision bank that is created by the wisdom that we have at time. I usually tell the parents in the inner circle humorously that the truth is that the choice of the partner you made at the time you made it is the level of knowledge you had at the time. So if you marry an idiot, you will submit to an idiot, or you will love an idiot. Unfortunately, that is a choice you made according to the knowledge bank you had. So the choice of the children, your children will make, will be a reflection of what it is that your children know. Now, the next thing is enlightenment of bodily harm and consent. You need to educate your children about the risk associated with egg harvesting, cosmetic surgery, tattoos, piercing, self-harms. Again, all of these things that I have said is not a sin. You can see me making emphasis. You can see me making emphasis on these things. You can see me making emphasis. No, it's not a sin. But if you do not emphasize the importance of understanding the long-term implication of these decisions, the informed concept of the choices that they will make, it will affect your child eventually. So let your child be well informed to actually be able to make choices from the knowledge they have per time. What are the skills that you need? What are the skills that you need for body safety education? Number one is communication skills. Most of us have communicated the wrong things to our children. And, you find out that our children are struggling. And the way we actually use phrases, I'm going to be talking about, the wrong phrases you use when you're having sex conversations. When a child says something to you and you actually say to them, you have not reached. That's the wrong phrase to use on anything sex conversation. Please note, even if your child is 1 and your child will ask you a question about contraceptive, see, your duty is to break it down in a way your 1-year-old must understand it. A few days ago in the inner circle, we were discussing about rape. And somebody reached out and said, my 5-year-old asked me about rape. And I said, you have not, it's not your, whether it's not your time, Abi, you have not reached, Abi, it's not. Never say that to a child on the issue of body safety conversation. And I said to her, I said, you must find a way to break it down. And I had to do step by step of how to break it down for the child. Age appropriate conversation. Never dismiss. Number 2, you need decision-making skills. You need to teach your children, right, how to make informed decisions about their body. You need to make that decision. You need to teach them. You need to discuss the importance of weighing the risk, the benefit of any procedure, any body modification. My children are teenagers. We talk about the benefits of everything. I don't go telling them, once you just do this, you just go to hell, you just die. That's the same thing your parents did. Fear tactics. Fear tactics never, ever, ever helps anyone. So teach your children how to make decisions appropriately. And when you're making decisions, so I have a background in public health, right? I'm a public health professional. And one of the things that you will hear in public health is to actually tell you that decision making is about putting the pros and the cons right in front of you. And then you make choices. I remember the day we had a conversation about egg harvesting. And, I was trying to tell my daughter and some of her friends. And, they kept asking questions like, okay, so when you remove it, and then I told them, I said, the thing is, there is a finite number of eggs that you actually have. The kind of infertility issues we're going to have in years to come is going to be terrible. So when I tell the parents in the inner circle that we will not pick our spouses on the street, there is no more street spouse checking. Not anymore. Not anymore. He pleased thou me. Nah. We're past that. That's a conversation for another day. So there has to be a decision-making skill. Teach them, empower them to make choices. Don't make those choices for them. Let them understand why they are making the choices. Let them weigh the risk. Let them weigh the benefit. Let them decide that, I don't want this. Let them be able to make those choices. Don't preach hellfire to them. Don't preach, you're going to go to hell. Please stop it. That's fear tactics. And let me even tell you the worst thing. When you use fear for the teenage brain wants to learn it wants to actually even try more. Because fear is intriguing for the teenage brain. So I usually say that fear is an inappropriate language of instruction. Never use fear. Never have this conversation and you're telling your children you will go to hell. See, they know. You see all these things? They're not listening to you. Use it. That's remember that the conversation is about foolishness and wisdom. The conversation is not about sin and righteousness. It's not about sin and righteousness. So teach your children how to make decisions for themselves. How do you even begin to take these decisions? These decisions will include, right, things as simple as safe and unsafe touch. The child says, I'm uncomfortable with this touch. You say, I was there now. You actually disempower your child for making choices for themselves. Did you get that? For making choices for themselves. So when a child says, I'm uncomfortable, the other day I touched my daughter, at the back, and she was like, mommy, that was uncomfortable. I didn't go telling her, what do you mean? It's uncomfortable. Is it not your back I touched? What are you proving? The person says it's uncomfortable to them, and you want to prove a point on top of another person's body. Part of body safety conversations. That's it. So you must start from there. Little things. Stop putting yourself on top of your children. Like you want to make decisions for them. You want to decide what is good, what is not good. I get it. You're a parent. You are to guide. Please. Sex conversation is not about peddling fears. It's not about policing your child. It's about empowering your child. So empower them. Empower them. So when your child says, I just say, oh, really? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That empowers them to say that, oh, I can decide what is good on my body and what is not. Not mommy telling me. Because when they now get to a point, they will not say, mommy have not told me whether it's good or bad. And that's it. I usually say, I wrote in my book, Raising the Independent Thinking Child. And I said that for your child to actually become, they must learn to say no to you. Did you hear that? If your child cannot say no to you, you are actually preparing a room for abuse. The next one is, the next skill you need is self-advocacy. Let's run. Encourage your children to advocate for their own safety and their own well-being. Self-advocacy. Role-play scenario where they might need to assert boundaries to say no. Advocate. Advocate. Let them learn to advocate for themselves. It is in self-advocacy a child can protect his or her own, process. That's an interesting story. Our daughter said to me that a particular math teacher looked at her a certain way and then told her to come to his office. And she said she wasn't going. She found a way and didn't go. Why? Because I have taught her what you term uncomfortable, so it is. I'm not there. I should not come and be telling her, it's not like that. Are you sure that you're not overreacting? That's the wrong phrase to use. Overreacting. The person has made a decision. That's how you empower your child. That's how you help them to actually do self-advocacy. Self-advocacy. So this is so key. And then the next one, the last one, is seeking help. Do you know that seeking help is a skill? If you don't teach your children how to seek help, if you don't teach your children how to seek help, you will disempower them. Both boy and girl, especially for the boys. Get them to understand how to seek them. Educate them on where to go. Don't just say, when somebody touches you, say no and get away. No. Don't stop there. Educate them on where to go, how to go, who to go to, if they feel pressured or even consider any risky behavior at all. Ensure that they can reach out to trusted adults, counselors, or even helplines. See, do not think that you are, when it comes to the conversation, you're not an alpha and omega. There are things that must be in place. Environment is a big deal. Trusted adults is a big deal. Let's run so that we'll be able to really talk about and finish all of the things that we have today. Alrighty. Now, how do you start body safety conversations? Number one, create a safe environment. Create a safe environment, right? Somebody said I skipped emotional regulation. Yes, please. Emotional regulation, all right? Skills. Emotional regulation is a skill for body safety education. Let me speak to it a bit. If you do not know how to control your emotions, you're going to hear things that will will make your heart skip, and then you're going to just get agitated, and then you lose trust. And I usually say that trust is the biggest currency in sex conversation. Trust is the biggest currency in sex conversation. If your child cannot trust you, they cannot have this conversation with you. Do you know why? Because sex conversation, body safety conversation is a personal thing. It's a personal thing. It is one of the things that actually helps you, right, as a person to be able to connect with yourself. So if I must connect with you, I must be able to trust you. And how do I trust you? By you not overbloating things out of proportion. Yeah, hey, why are you like this? I'm going to talk about crush, how to deal with crush on the last day, right? It's part of the curriculum for the last day. How do you deal with a crush? What do you do? Many of us, what we just say to our children is, I don't have, you have not reached that crush. What does that mean? You don't really empower them. We're constantly running away from this conversation because somewhere in our mind, right, we can just shoo it and just not talk about it. That's why I said, the first thing I said when I started this session is get comfortable with this conversation. Get comfortable being comfortable talking about it. All right? So I talked about how to start this conversation, create a safe environment, use everyday opportunity. You're watching a movie, use it. You're having a conversation, use it. Remember that talking about personal hygiene is part of body safety conversations. I'm sure that every single one of us got that guide. Guided hands and guided fingers. And then, that guided hands and guided fingers, you use it to actually be able to have the conversations on personal hygiene. Your child's body, what happens to it, and all of that. It's your responsibility to teach your child. So when I see people say, oh, men can wear boxers twice, I just see somebody whose parents fail to actually teach them appropriate body safety techniques. That's it. That's it. All right. So use everyday opportunities. Monitor media consumptions, and then support network. I'm going to get deeper into that, talking about the 5 safety rules. Number 1 safety rule under the 5 safety rule is my body is my own. It's my own. So empower your children with knowledge that their bodies are theirs. When people ask me, what is it that you're supposed to tell a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old about this particular, conversation about my body is my own? Simple thing. Your body is not a toy. It's simple phrase. Do you know that your 2-year-old internalizing that their body is not a toy can save them from abuse? Because they have an understanding. You are empowering them. You see all this when people come and say, hey, things are happening, things are happening. My children will never go and do sleepover. Hey, my children will never tweet it to my parents. My children will never do, hey, my children, they are all fear tactics. They are all fear tactics. You are just afraid. You are policing your children, you're not empowering them. Empowerment, we mean this is what you need to do if this happens. And these are the steps you need to take. So if you're on that table where you're saying, hey, God, hey, my children will not, I need to protect my children. I need to make sure that people don't have access to them. How about the non-touching forms of sexual abuse? Which is even more than the true abuse that we have. That's a very important aspect. Number 2, I want you to look at this food for thought, right? And then we move. One of the best gifts you can give your children is learning sex education from you. That's one of the best gifts. So start now. In fact, even thank you so much, Ogene. Even less than 2 years, say it. Even once your child can talk, let them be able to know that their body is not a toy. And if your child is an adult, of course, you should be able to know that don't play with my body, and allow them to actually do that. Body safety rule number 2, safe touch and unsafe touch. Remember that I said, what a child determines as unsafe, is what it is that is unsafe to them. Please, don't rationalize it. Don't explain it away. Don't minimize it. Using the right words can make all the difference in guiding your child through life changes. Number 3, safe and unsafe secret. Safe and unsafe secret. A safe secret brings joy. An unsafe secret brings fear. That's how I taught my children. So I'm just, telling you the same thing. Teach your children to know the difference. A safe secret brings joy. An unsafe secret brings fear. So a safe secret will mean somebody comes and says, we want to surprise daddy. Don't tell daddy. Hey, everybody's excited. Most times that's what a safe secret is. And our safe secret is, don't tell anybody. Let nobody hear us. Once the child is afraid, then it is important. How could one be sure of the trust one has opposite sex when having sex conversation? How could one be sure the trust one has for opposite sex when having? So I don't know. That is not clear, sir. You might want to rewrite it or re-explain it, right? So teach your children about safe secrets. That's a good way to explain it. And then the next one is safety network. A trusted adult. A trusted adult is a child first line of defense against danger. Did you hear that? A trusted adult is a child's first line of defense against danger. Think about it this way. It takes a village to keep our children safe. It takes a village. You need to build a safety network around your children. What is a safety network? A safety network is the people your children, we call them trusted adults in my house. Trusted adults. Who are the people that your children can talk to? Now, this will mean that the trusted adult will also know what you know. You know, remember when we were talking about sex conversation, we're like, bring the people around you. So every single trusted adult for my children today, every single one of them is in this class. Because I understand that when it comes to keeping my children safe, I can't do it alone. There has to be a network of people. What if you're not there? What if you're not reachable? What if your child is in school? So these are all the network of trusted adults. So while you're thinking about creating the system, think about who is it again? Who is it again that my child will talk to, that my child can run to? Does my child have this safety net? Does my child have this safety net of being able to actually be safe, even if I'm not there? That's what a trusted adult is. That's why it's important that the knowledge that you're gaining, every single person around you, when it comes to this conversation, need it, because it's the first line of defense. Now, how to say no and seek help, which is the last one. How to say no and speak up. All right. What are the signs one needs to look for in a trusted adult? Thank you. Alignment of value system. Thank you for that question. If your value system does not align with that person, there is a problem already. It means that your children are going to hear the things they shouldn't hear from that person. It doesn't even matter whether the person is your mother, your father, your sibling. Alignment in your family value is one of the most important things, or your personal value, to look out for. Don't say, they're my friend, now they have their own life. Me too, I have my own life. That's where you start failing. Hey, that's where you start failing. No, they don't have your own life. And you have once there's a divergence of value system, you cannot place your child under that trusted adult. That's the rule of thumb. So the first thing you want to look out for, do we align? Do we believe in the same things? So if you want that trusted adult to become a trusted adult, one of the things that you want to see, or one of the things that you want to do, Mr. Manuel, thank you for that question, is to look at, does this person believe what I believe? Does this person believe? That's it. An aligned family value system is equal to a trusted adult. Because, sometimes you're saying another thing, your friends are saying another, you say, no, it's not really, they're just my friends. We do that to our children. You go out, you go out with your friends, you drink, maybe you don't even drink, yeah? You just, sit down there, they drink, you just with them, they are just, you just say, it's okay. Then you come back to your children and say, alcohol is not good and all of that. They're looking at you. And then when your child actually, had and you should need to seek help, the trusted adult in their circle is the one that believes that, alcohol is okay. That's a good example. You do not believe, right? You do not believe that premarital sex is good. You believe that is a sin. Then you have one friend who doesn't believe it's a sin. And then that's a trusted adult for your child, right? That's it. The child is going to go to that, child, and to that, person, and the person just aligns and just says, no, it's okay. Forget this thing your mom is saying. Oh, no, it's fine. So that's it. Please do not share our links to anyone who didn't pay for this class. If you do, we find out we'll blacklist you from the Academy series for life. Please don't do that. If you have any family or friend who is to be in this class and you need to actually listen to these sessions, get them to pay. Today we still leave the window of paying 4,999. Get them to pay to join the class. This is a paid class, and I'm sure that by the time you're done with these classes, you will know that even the money you paid, just even getting the guided hands and guided fingers is all done. Please don't do that. Thank you very much. All right. Now, that's one thing about trusted adults. If the trusted adult part of the school system, so we usually do in back to school. Do you know that the school you send your children, there must be an alignment of family value? It must align. Don't go and put your child in a school that don't believe the things you believe. You're going to fight. You're going to fight to the rest of your life. Teenage dating. You don't believe your children should start dating as teenagers. That friend believes that, oh no, it doesn't really matter. And that's a trusted adult in your circle. That's it. You don't finish. All right? Teach your children. Now let's talk about seeking help. The power to say no is the power to protect oneself. The power to say no is the power to protect us. Some of those things we used to have it in our world, where our children have been able to internalize it. Get them to say them to themselves. The power to say no is the power to protect myself. Teach your children that seeking help is a sign of strength. It is not a sign of weakness. It is not a sign of weakness. So we teach our children that when you have a problem, please speak out, seek help. It gives you more strength. Alrighty. All right, let's go. How do you say no and seek help? Actually, for young children, I needed to actually, say this and teach it a bit so that we will know how to say no and seek help. No, teach your children that it's okay at certain boundaries. Teach them that it's okay to say no. Any touch, any situation that makes them uncomfortable, that makes them scared, that even if it's from someone they know or trust. Stop telling your children, avoid strangers. Please stop saying that. You disempower them. You inadvertently teach them that it is okay that somebody who is close can harm you. So it's not a stranger. Right? So it's not a stranger. So, if you are actually that person who do not understand a certain boundaries, right? At certain boundaries, then you would need to start teaching it now. Empower them. Reinforce the idea that feelings are important and that they have the right to refuse anything that doesn't feel right to them. Anything. Okay? So this is very important. All your questions, by the time you're done by day 5, right? Most of them would have been answered. Okay? So do not have a problem. Do not panic. You're here to get your answers, and we will give you answers. What we said, we're going to be talking about crush at the last module of this class. I'm also going to be teaching on teen dating at the last module of this class. So be there. Now, role-playing scenarios are powerful too to teach our children of any age to understand and also internalize the 5 body safety rules. It helps anybody to understand how to respond in any situation. I like practical lessons. So I'm going to quickly run through scenarios of the different types of body safety rules. Number 1 is unwanted touch from a peer. A classmate tried to touch a child inappropriately during recess. Even if your child is an adult, somebody tries to touch them in a way they don't want. Do you know that even as adults, people get abused or get uncomfortable with touches and they cannot say no? Yeah. I have a friend. The pastor hugged her in a way she didn't like. She wrote a whole letter informing the pastor that, see, this hug, there's something wrong with it. Please, sir, do not hug me in this way anymore. Most of us cannot, because we have been silenced into not understanding unwanted peer or touch. And because religious figures, most of us were actually in those spaces where religious figures were get all of that out. One of the things that is important when it comes to this is, if you understand the place of unwanted touch, understand how to be assertive, learn it and practice it. So teach your children to practice it. Most adults cannot do these things that we're saying here, right? Act out the scene where a parent or instructor is playing the role of the classmate, right? Then encourage the child to use the phrase, my body is my own. No, I don't like that. Clearly and firmly. And I'm saying this too to adult you. Most of you have your bosses touch you in a way that you don't want. Most of you have your, your colleagues, as a man, rub your head or something. You can't even say, no, I don't like that. You just smile, sheepishly. And before you know it, you're in the hands of whatever. Because you do not understand the unwanted touch, from a peer thing. You didn't learn it. So play this scenario. Practice seeking help, maybe help finding a teacher, a trusted adult, and reporting the incident. Teach your children this. All right. A lot of questions. Can you explain safe and unsafe secrets again? No, ma, you will need to go back and listen to it. What time? Each of the classes are 90 minutes. All right. Okay. Let's go. Scenario 2. Unsafe secret from a family friend. A family friend tells a child to keep a secret about inappropriate behavior. Describe the scenario where the friend is actually doing it. Role play the interaction with the parent. This is in your worksheet, right? The role plays. Teach the child to recognize and request. I don't keep secrets about touches. That could be, that could be a thing, right? So it is important. Then scenario 3. A stranger tries to engage a child in an appropriate conversation or maybe share a content online, your teenagers and all of that. Explain the scenario to the child. Tell the child that they're encountering inappropriate content and message. Stimulate interaction. Most of us get hooked by girls sharing their naked body to us online. So even adults, you're on this table. So this is not just children. You need to stimulate the interaction using a mock chat, a social media interface, and all of that. Right? So this is important. When you're talking to your children within this, except they fall within teenage, right? They are 13 and 15. Most times, please do your sex conversations separately. Do your sex conversations separately. Somebody said, I remember when a pastor pecked me. I was uncomfortable, but still couldn't say anything. That's it. That's it. We got uncomfortable. Nobody taught us these things. Nobody intentionally came to us to say, see, this is what you do when these situations stop. They only told us if somebody touches you, you get pregnant. So you are afraid. You are not empowered. Yeah. You are afraid. You are not empowered. Stop creating fear. Empower your children. Empower them. Stop telling them when somebody touches you, hey, you're going to get pregnant. You just fear. A child will just do like a jellyfish and just run away. No. It is you teach the child the right to be assertive about their body. See all of the conversation that is coming out. We all went through these things, but we never spoke about it. Scenario 4. Uncomfortable physical contact from a relative. How do one create family value? Buy the family value guide. The team will share how you can get the guide on our seller link. Buy it. I think it's 1.5 or so. Use it to create your family value. Now, describe a relative insists on giving hug or kisses despite the child's discomfort. You even tell the child, why are you just doing? Why are you doing like that? Stay now, they are just hugging you. You are doing anything. The child thinks she's uncomfortable. Do you know if that person have actually tried to molest this child for crying out loud, and then you are pushing this child? This pastor pecking is plenty. How many people like say, now wow, all these pastor pecked me. People like say, now the plenty things we they see for here. So one of the things I actually raised that is that I was almost raped by a priest. And see, you must deal with these things so that you're not teaching from the place of fear. I don't tell my children, hey, let any pastor that touches you, any budget, hey, avoid them. Do they know that's from the place of fear? That's from the place of fear. I won't tell fear to my child. I will sell you empowerment. I will sell you knowledge. So that you'll be able to stand up for yourself. So that you'll be able to make decisions yourself. So that you'll be able to actually do things yourself. It's not about me. So you need to role play this. If a child gets uncomfortable, let the child say, no, thank you. I don't want to be hugged now. I don't want to be hugged now. Now. So these are things you must teach your children. Stop forcing your children to hug a relative or greet your child. Greet you now hug. You not even hug. I just standing there just saying good afternoon. Whether it's man or woman, I really do not care. Because women also abuse women. Women also abuse women. Please. I've seen aunties abuse young girls. I have. I've seen uncles abuse young boys. If your child gets uncomfortable, let the child, please allow your child to be uncomfortable and say no. So let them say, no, thank you. I don't want to be hugged. My son told somebody, a relative, I don't want to be hugged. They were like, how can you say you don't want to be hugged? But I said, sorry, he's uncomfortable. I can't force him to be comfortable. I can't. So reinforce the importance of telling the parents if a relative doesn't respect their boundary. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether relative or whoever, right? Somebody say, reading the comment section is so funny. Then the last scenario, safe and unsafe touch. Maybe you are in a doctor's, visit. I remember one of those days, our daughter was in the doctor's, it was a doctor's visit. We were trying to check her vagina and all of that. And she was uncomfortable. And she said, I'm uncomfortable. Please, can my mom be here? And it's okay. Don't tell the child, no, you're okay, just stay there. No, the child is uncomfortable. The child is uncomfortable. So it is very, very important. Let's go. There are a lot of, you can see a lot of encounters. Now let's quickly run through section 2 as we begin to round off. Look at it. Well, we have a lot of conversation in the comment section. Communicating with your child about sex. What are the currency of relationship? Invest in them wisely. I say that again. What are the currency of relationship? Invest in them wisely. Know what it is that your child is, what you're saying to your child, per time, how you are saying it. Now, what are the phrases to avoid while having this conversation? And like I said, please, all your questions will be answered as we go. This is just module 1. So do not just attend this class, this one, and say, oh no, everything should have been done, here. No, this is just module 1. I will get to it. Number 1 is negative and shameful language. Avoid it. Avoid using, things that will cause shame. Like, that's dirty. Don't say that to your child. You're too young to understand that. Don't say that to your child. Remember what I said, that once you actually say to your child, you're too young to understand that, it means that you're dismissing. Never be dismissal. Don't dismiss. You're too young. You don't even know what it is that we're talking about. Please don't say it. Don't say that. Okay? So this is very important. Never, ever say that. Okay? The solar link is in the comment. I'm sure that you would only have it in the group. The team would share it in the community on WhatsApp. Okay? Number 2, we don't talk about here. We don't talk about that, here, negative and shameful language. Don't use negative and shameful language. Number 2, dismissive responses. You don't need to know about it yet. Don't use that. Avoid dismissing questions or concerns with phrases, right? Like you don't need to know about it. Or just focus on your studies. Your child comes and says, I have a crush. Your child is 9. Then focus on your studies. You have not reached anything about man or woman now. Is not your stage. Never be dismissive. As we go on, I'm going to actually share with you in clear terms how you can have these conversations with your child. Number 3, incorrect and misleading information. Avoid giving incorrect and misleading information, right? And it is very okay. You say things like, oh, the babies come from heaven. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Mhm. Number two is something only grown-ups know. You will learn it when you're better, but when you're older, that's a misleading information. And you're going to actually get your child to the point where your child becomes curious and begins to actually look for it. Then use proper terminology. Of course, I'm sure that at this time we understand that using accurate terminology, right? Accurate terminology um, is very, very important. Instead of PP, please stop saying PP. Use pennies. That's what it's called. Pennies. If you're uncomfortable saying the word pennies, go to your mirror and say pennies, pennies, pennies. Go to your mirror and say vagina, vagina, vagina. Every morning. By the time you do it 3 times, you get used to it. Use breast. Don't say your chest area. No, call them by the names. Because you do not want to also demonize this conversation, right? Demonize this conversation so that your children don't begin to actually, look at it like, there's something wrong with saying it. There's nothing wrong with saying it. So when we have the guided fingers that I shared with you and the guided hands is something that we use over the years. My children and I, we used it every week to talk about vagina health. So what we called it was vagina health. Vagina health. That's what we call it. So in fact, even today, right, this morning, my daughter and I have had a vagina health conversation. This morning, before I started this conversation. And we talked about, the vagina, talked about what it looked, talked about how it is. And we got comfortable with it. And there's nothing about her vagina she cannot say to me. There's nothing about our son's penis he cannot say to us. So get comfortable calling it. Get comfortable. Like I said, Biko, go to the vulva, my vulva. But go to the mirror, open your mouth and nail it and say it and say it is not dirty. It is the word. That's the proper terminology. I was sitting with some parents in the inner circle in Maryland just this past week, and I was trying to actually share. I was actually trying to share with the parents, and the father, one of the fathers amongst us, was talking about how he started this conversation with the children. He said every morning I just go and I say, because they were only girls and they were part of the sex conversation he needed to have, and then he would go and say, okay, how do I say it? Depressed. So when you're pressed. So when it was so funny. But if you need to practice it, right? If you need to practice, please practice it. Okay? So that is very important. I want you to look at this food for thought. A safe home is the foundation of a happy childhood. The safe home is a foundation, right? It's a happy childhood. Is it okay to call it chest for a boy? Yeah, your chest, yes. Right? Is it okay? And that to peck your 4-year-old girl. Yes, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. All right. There's nothing wrong with it. And one of the things that we need you to go home with today is also to practice how to be open and have honest conversation. Non-judgmental approach. Approach conversations without judgment or criticisms. Don't start a conversation, with your child, and the first thing you're doing is to criticize. No, all the people that put tattoo on their body, they are all wicked people. They will go to hell. All the person, they are all ugly. Don't start it from that point. You will lose the conversation if you ever do. Let your children know that you are available to talk to them. Make the decision about sex and body changes a regular conversation, not just a one-time talk. Right? So in your worksheet, you will see a walkthrough with it and how it is that you're going to actually go through it. And one of the things I want to advise every parent here is to please get into the academy. I can't even say it enough. Most of the things I have taught here will be a whole lot created in a better way if it becomes consistent. Book a slot as soon as you're done and get into the academy for the year by the 1st of December 2024. Another thing I want you to note is listening and responding. You need to learn how to listen actively. and respond appropriately. Active listening means that you're listening. They can hear you. You're giving full attention. One thing you want to do, you say this one, the moment your child starts to talk to you, drop it on one side and focus. Drop it on one side and focus. Validate the feeling. Acknowledge your child's feeling, their concerns. For example, I understand that this can be very confusing. Don't go with, hey, your child will come and say, I have a crush. You say, small children of these days, during my own time, by the time I was even 20, I didn't even have a crush. Well done, Mary Amaka. Thank you, sir. Oh, but before it was only your mother. I only even had eye for. I never had eye for anybody. You face your book, face your book. Thank you, sir. We have eye, we can see, we have feelings. Some of us had crushes in primary 1. I did. I don't know about you. I don't know how to lie to myself. Me, I had a crush. One crush, I'll tell you about it on the last day. And I'll tell you what it is, how to actually tell your children to deal with it. So please, let us get to the point where we're not, pushing our children away just because we want to actually project righteousness. I'm not saying that righteousness is not a good thing. I'm saying that if you do not listen to your children, you won't be able to appropriately project righteousness. So don't just condemn first before you are even approached. Don't condemn before you are even approached. So put yourself in a position where when your children are actually coming to you, they know you're going to listen. Your child will be able to actually say, oh, I have a crush. And when they say, I have a crush, and you're like, the way I just said my daughter, the first time I heard she had a crush, I just said that about my primary 1 crush. He made her laugh so loud. Right? I didn't come to say, no, hey, children of the things that children of these days know. Hey, come on now. Come on. In fact, if you always say in my time, I usually say to parents in the inner circle, if you are one person who always say in my time, you are culturally unintelligent because your time is gone. Totally. Answer honestly. Provide honest and clear answers. I'm giving you what you can do today. As you get out your worksheet, as you're answering, please provide. Right? Provide. Is it too late to pay 100K by now? No, it's not too late. I have just got a slot reserved. Once you have a reserved slot, it's not too late. Answer honestly. Provide honest answers. Provide honest answers. Don't shoo it away. It's okay to say so and find it together. I don't know the answer. Sometimes I tell my daughter, I don't really know the answer. The other day I was listening to my husband and I told the son, we will go and actually look for the answer. It's okay. It's okay. Somebody say, Coach, the gist you have promised us for last day, I must be there. You cannot not be there on the last day. Don't demonize this conversation. Stop demonizing sex. For the record, sex is not a sin. Somebody help me put that in the comment section. Hey, that's where we are ending it. Sex is not a sin. What is a sin is when sex is done. Where? Premarital sex is a sin. Sex is not a sin. Don't ever tell your children that sex is a sin. That is you demonizing sex. That is you demonizing sex. It's not a sin. Sex outside of the marital experience is what a sin is. And that's why some of us are still having sex in the dark, because we are all afraid that we are sinning, because that's what we've been told. So I want us to get comfortable with this conversation. And don't lie to your child. Oh, that sex that is even painful. That thing is not painful anything. It's not true. It's a very good feeling. I told my daughter, and I talked it to my son, you will enjoy it. But there is time for everything. Stop demonizing sex. You're demonizing it actually doesn't make your children not do it. When you actually demonize it, remember that the brain of the teenager, of a child, is very, 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 very looking for what it is that they want to do. Right? So it is important that you share the right knowledge. You tell them the truth and not just color it. Example of positive responses. When your child, tells you about something, asks you a question. Oh, that's a great question. Let's talk about it. Oh, I'm glad that you asked. It's important that you actually know these things. Let's talk about it. Oh, I feel that I have a crush. Oh, your feelings are normal. It's okay to be curious about your body and relationship. Then you get it on from there. Sex is created by God. It is not something that we should avoid discussing, but we must be able to empower our children, right? Empower our children to be able to hold on to it. It's something that we need to empower. Stop selling fear. Stop policing them around. Empower them. Empower them. All right, thank you, everybody. I'm going to end here. It's actually 1 hour, 40 minutes. Amazing. In conclusion, a child protected today is a future strengthened for tomorrow. In teaching teaching your children how to cope with disappointment, you need to teach them how to separate identity from situation. That's my last word to you. Anything that happens to your child, let them understand that, especially for children who have already been abused, let them understand that it is not them, right? It's a situation that happened and it's something that can be dealt with. Okay. And today is my primary six crush's birthday. Looking at him, I used at his big nose. So that's a good one. Thank you so much for bringing humor to this as we end this class. All right. And we must actually begin to take a look at it, do things properly and have this conversation. Please do not ever miss any class. It's going to get hotter. It's going to get hotter. Tomorrow we're having Coach Ebuka talk about the LGBTQ conversation. Yes, we're teaching our children how to have this conversation. We are not, you know, somebody started a very, very relevant question. What if parents had premarital sex? How person won't teach the children? Yes. See, vulnerability is an asset. It's not a disappointment. It's not a disservice. So don't lie to your children. Tell them, I have made mistakes and I have come to a place where I understand that this is a mistake. This is why, because I didn't have the right teaching. Please be vulnerable enough, right? Be vulnerable enough to share your mistakes. Let your children not hear your mistakes from outside. The best thing you can give your child is to hear about your mistakes from you. It empowers them not to make the same mistakes. Never hide it from them. All right. Thank you so much. Somebody say, how do you respond to the crush? Don't worry. Come on day 5. We're talking about crush on day 5. And we're talking about, teen dating and all of that. Tomorrow we're having Coach Ebuka talk about the LGBTQ conversation. On the 3rd day, we're having Coach Etima talk about empowering your child. This policing, we're not policing, we're empowering. And then don't miss listening to David Folarami, who will be talking about drug conversations. And that is what, we're going to be having. On the last day, all of the stories I kept for you, I am going to be keeping it for you. Somebody is asking why the 4-year-old is asking about wearing sanitary pad. Please tell your 4-year-old what it is and why you're wearing a sanitary pad. And why are you wearing a sanitary pad where your 4-year-old can see you? Now, that's another conversation. Some of us take our baths with our children. Some of us dress up where our children. Please stop it. All right? It's part of teaching your children about body autonomy. When it's about body autonomy, that's part of it. That's part of the conversation. All right? Protect your child to protect your own body. Tell your child that their body is actually for them. When you are teaching it, you are also owning it. Right? So don't take your bath with your children. Don't put dress up in front of your children. Don't do that. Don't wear things, right, that you should not wear at home. If you're a man, because we don't want to see you in boxers and flapping things all around. No, please, sir. Wear a proper shirt. If you're a woman, we don't want to see you with bra walking around and you're thinking and you're saying to yourself, no, it's my house. Protect the future of the child today so that it can be strengthened, right? Protect that child today so that their future can be strengthened. Biko, do not dress inappropriately in where your children are. Do not dress up with where your children are. Do not take your bath with your children. It is a no no, no. We're going to be talking more about this as we are going. I hope that this has been able to bless you. For those who are asking about um the inner circle, you can book today with 5,000 naira, and I think the fee is actually going up soon. So you book today with 5,000 naira, but you get to still pay 100,000 if you're booking within this period, right? I do not know about all of the other this thing, but book today 5,000 naira, and then you'll be able to pay your balance before you can spread your balance and pay before the end of the year. The next cohort starts on the 1st of December. Please see, this is just an aspect of parenting, sex conversation. It is like 1 millionth aspect. There are other aspects. Right? There are other aspects. Please, can I continue making payment for inner circle? Yes, you can. There are other aspects of parenting, too many of it. Please do not. Is it proper for a mother to be naked around the house when the children can see her? No. How else can I say this now? No, don't be naked. Biko, wear clothes. Biko, don't flap your breast, don't flap your penis. We don't want to see it. Cover up. Thank you very much. Right? Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. I paid for all the three. I never attended due to some situations. I used to miss it. Thank God I'm here today. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yes, it's it remaining 95K. Yes, after booking with 5,000, your balance will be 95K. Yes. So this is just day one. Imagine what is gonna happen day 2, day 3, day 4. And the others, are you excited? It's July. I see you guys in the yard. Please do not just attend Sex Educate and just go away and just feel parenting is a big deal today. Parenting is a big deal today. I am so happy that you got value for the money that you paid. We usually brag, right? We usually brag that when you pay in the academy, you get much more than the value that you pay. We finish your money on day one, and then we give you free classes. You agree with me that you're going to be attending free classes going forward. In fact, before you started attending free classes because we already gave you guided hand, guided fingers. That's what 6,000 naira already. Trust me that's it. Your friends and family can still join today at 4,999 if you're joining the Sex Educate like a pro. But after today, of course, we want to keep that open for them to join. If you have your circle of friends, those trusted adults, get them in here. I am particularly excited to actually have you guys trust us through this journey. It is my honor. It is my joy to have you here. See you tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. Where we're going to have Coach Ebuka join us. And while you're at it, please get books. Get books for parenting. Start reading, right? There's a lot to read. Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro already has 3 volumes. Volume 1, 2, 3 already. So you want to buy books, you want to start reading, start connecting, start reading. There's a lot to learn. Thank you so much for having me, and do have an amazing day. Hope to see you tomorrow. All right. Get gingered, get ready. Do not forget to be here while it is here. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, and do have an amazing day.